I'm still trying to catch my breath and still trying to think how I'm going to sleep for the next 3 nights. We just experienced an overtime loss, and I know as a coach, it's hard to fall asleep those next couple nights, and I'm not looking forward to the next couple. But when I do fall asleep, I fall asleep with tremendous pride. I could not be luckier to coach a group of men that believe. It's easy to say as a coaching staff, hey, we're still in this. We can still do this. And then we're down 3 goals with 2 minutes left. And for our men to continue to believe and to continue to just worry about the next play, I'm a very, very lucky coach. I coach men with tremendous heart. The challenge for us is obviously, to take our game to the next level, and that starts on Monday with practice, and then with the next contest coming up against Richmond. We're a team with big heart, but we obviously got to get better with our team defense. We did not provide enough support to our freshman goalkeeper. I thought Griffin was, did as much, if not more, than we could have asked for him in his second career start. He was simply fantastic in the first half, and he continued to make saves in the second half. We have to get better as a team defense in front of him. The face-off X, we've been very strong there. We were hampered with a lot of infraction calls today, which then puts us on a little bit of an edge because you don't want to get that third infraction and then give a very potent Johns Hopkins man-up unit another chance to score, which obviously they did 3 times today. And so obviously we've just got to get better with our face-offs counters, because we were certainly struggling against Moreland to win the initial draw, win the initial clamp. Certainly give credit to Johns Hopkins and Virginia in a tremendous game that means tremendous amount to both of us, representing Doyle Smith and everything he did for UVA, and certainly his history as a student here at Johns Hopkins. Heroic efforts on both parts, both teams. They made the first big comeback. We made the late comeback, and certainly was a lot of fun as a coach to be a part of this game.
I mean, I think that whole game, hats off to Hopkins. They battled with us till the very last whistle. But I think what it came down to is us offensive players just trying to make the smart play. I think for a few possessions that we had where we had been on defense for almost 2 minutes, we got the ball and then didn't make the smartest decision. We probably made an open look, but there could have been another pass or one more look that could have been wide open that would have led to a goal. And I think that going forward, we need to be able to realize those smart options and smart passes and take advantage of those. And if we had done that, then I think that slouch or slump that we had of however long in the third quarter that allowed Hopkins to get back into the game, then if we can turn those looks into the smart looks, the right ones, then I think we'll be fine from there.
I think Hopkins did a really good job of taking a punch and rolling with it and coming back and never really, letting up. So I think the second half was really a measure of their strength as an offensive team, but I think it also showed definitely good parts and bad parts for the Virginia offense or defense. I think there were some really good things that we did there, like coming out at X and playing really well against their crease attackmen throughout the whole game. Tanner Scales did a great job, but I think we just need to play better as a team defense, and that kind of showed obviously in the man down when they scored a few there, even though we weren't fully man up, but I thought that it was overall a good test for us.
I mean, definitely. I think we've thought that the entire year, just kind of making that next one. We just know that our opportunities will come, so we're just going to keep fighting, keep battling, practicing hard, and when we know that the goals will come, the stops will come. So we're not really worried with these 1 goals. Obviously, we would want them, but we're more focused on the end and how we're going to be playing then. So we just have that mindset, and we'll come back even stronger.
Yeah, to build off of that, it's just from the goalie perspective, it's always a next shot mentality. And I think that going forward, even as a team, that should be our thing is, we're going to look at this really closely, obviously, on Monday. But it's always got to be next game, next team, how are we going to get better? So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really what I want to focus on as a staff is what is the process. For example, being in the overtime huddle, the message is, not to dig deep and grind out for the ground ball. Of course we're going to do that, but it's to, focus on your technique and do your job. And just think about what's the next step and what's the next play, because the past is behind us. And the better teams I've been around as a player and as a coach, tried not to dwell on a flag, a 3-goal run against us, and just move on. And and it's about making that next play. And so, we were fortunate we win that face-off in overtime, and fortunately Moreland looked like he's okay. I talked to him afterwards, said it was just some cramps, so that's good, that not another knee injury. And we were able to set up an offense, and so just focusing on the offensive execution as instead of these intangibles that you can't really control. But yeah, it's just a process, taking these next steps and getting better.
The last offensive possession you had, obviously DeMario got himself pushed back and whatnot. Were you? What can you kind of take away from that? What's kind of what do you try to?
Yeah, we were looking. Coach Kerwin is a fantastic offensive coordinator. He had drawn up a play where we would come off a pick, try to see if we could get Johns Hopkins to show a slide or to begin a slide, and then have Mike DeMario coming out for the left-hand wing, where he's a very dangerous, potent shooter from that left side. Johns Hopkins didn't slide, and they did a nice job of just keeping matchups, and therefore they were able to press out on that pass to Mike. Mikey, and obviously picking up the ball, but unfortunately they said he stepped on the midfield line, and so we get the turnover there. But I like the play call that we had, and give credit to the Hopkins defense for not having to slide to it and not leaving that wing open. Obviously on the other end of the field, we kept leaving that wing open a lot as Mar was continually getting his hands free. So we were trying our own little version, that type of, see if we can get our lefty shooter his hands free there.
Any more questions for Lars?
The 3-goal rally in the last 2 minutes or so, to build on what you were saying earlier, just how impressed were you that there was the ability to just kind of block out what had happened over the previous 24, 25 minutes or so?
Yeah, and what I need to do and go back as a coach is, did we start playing tight? Let's not take away from what Johns Hopkins did, scoring those 5 or 6 goals in a row to build that 3-goal lead. But I know the message from the bench wasn't, hey, let's be patient, let's chew some clock, as we left the third quarter and entered the fourth quarter. Because I've made that mistake before as a coach, and I know I won't do that again. So for us, it's 57 minutes of fast, and if we're fortunate to be winning, then we'll slow it down the last 3. But the message to the team was keep playing fast. But there seemed to be a bit of a tentativeness when we did have the ball. Obviously down 3 with 2 minutes to go, there can't be any tentativeness, and then we started clicking and we made some plays, and we did what Virginia lacrosse can do and what we're all about, is play fast and frenetically and be able to put the ball in the net quickly. And so that's so I am a bit surprised that we not only scored 3 but actually had a shot to win it with 2 seconds left, from Ryan Conrad. I'm really glad he hit the cage. There's certain situations where you want to you don't be too accurate. You don't have to try to be perfect with it. If you don't want to miss a shot with two seconds left, so I'm glad he hit the cage, and their goalie obviously made the save. But that's we truly believe no lead is safe if we're down. And but I will admit that being down 3 with 2 minutes left to tell us that we not only tie it but actually had a shot to win it, they've impressed me even more than I thought they ever could.
Lars, were you surprised that you guys were only able to force one field clear from Hopkins? I know that's something you guys have tried on.
Yeah, I was. I gave them credit. I thought they did a nice job clearing the ball. We thought with our 9-man ride that we'd be able to create more pressure and create more havoc. Hopkins did a nice job of subbing out of the midfield substitution box area and finding open men early. So then we tried to press there. I think what you really saw was Hopkins midfielders being able to deal with our 2 long stick middies, Jared Connors and Michael Howard, in sort of the middle of the field, full-on pressure mode. We created those 3 or 4 times, and give credit to the Hopkins midfielders. We couldn't create turnovers in those situations, and that's the situation that we really that we look forward to. Get a pole on a midi and press the adjacents and see if we can wreak some havoc there, but we couldn't. So part of it was what Hopkins drew up, and part of it was just that their middies doing a really nice job of dealing with our pressure and getting the ball cleared. But yeah, that was definitely an area that we had hoped. But obviously Hopkins is much better at the clearing game this year. They came into this game over 90%, and they did a nice job against a unit, us, who prides ourselves in getting that extra couple stops and keeping people around 80%.